Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here for Stamp and Stencil Savvy. And today, our challenge this month, the team is taking on um, embossing on our scrapbooking pages. And I've kind of picked the hexagon as a shape I'm going to use predominantly in this layout. So I'm going to do the stenciling and stamping ahead of time, and kind of and then we'll put all of this together. It's the photos are from a night out at Papacitos on the 20th of April. John's favorite restaurant, and it's where we always went on his birthday when we were in Texas. We went to Papacitos all over the Houston area, and John always said he wouldn't ever move out of Texas unless it was to a state that had Papacitos. And we didn't know that Georgia had Papacitos, but when we came here to visit James, we found one, and then it was okay to move. So John is very fondly remembered. Anytime you say Papacitos, that's who we all think of. And so we went to Papacitos. Katie wasn't able to come, and Ava wasn't able to come. It's finals time, and Ava was studying, and Katie had to work late. But Barrett lives near Papacitos, so he joined us. James and I drove there, and then we met up with Barrett. So these photos were taken there. And so it's going to be kind of a birthday page, sort of a birthday page, because that's kind of what we were doing. Let me I'm going to take the stencil, and I'm not going to brush color through it. Let's see, where's the, how does it open? Okay, here's how it opens. I'm going to kind of put it right here, and I'm going to trace some hexagons or part hexagons just as an accent. I have no idea what this is going to look like. I've never done this before, and I'm kind of flying blind, but I saw something like this on somebody else's page one time, and I thought I would try that. Okay, so that is abstract enough. I'm going to put this aside, and I may bring it back later. But this level of abstraction is kind of what I was going for. What I hate is that I got the page dirty, but I can fix that. That's what embellishing is for. So I'm going to start with, let's say we put this guy right here. And then we come here. The fact that those are not closed, that none of them are closed, is a little distracting to me. So I'm going to bring the stencil back. I don't, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. So I want this to be a distinctly, or for it to be suggest a hexagon, but I have to have a couple closed hexagons in here for that suggestion to hit our brains. So I'm kind of gonna do a few more and do more of them finished. So I think that's gonna work. And what I may do is kind of, for the ones that still show, I may go over them to kind of make it look like doodling. So I'm going to go like this because this hexagon still shows right there, and I kind of like that. And I could put this one here, and this one here, and then I'm thinking I want the title to be here. My title broke, but it's no big deal. None of the pieces broke off, so that's good. Okay, so that's kind of how it's going to lay out. Now what I want is to see where to stamp this hexagon. And I'm thinking that right here is where one of the places it needs to go. I'm going to put it like this. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp it. I'm going to put this in place. I'm going to go ahead and stamp it, and then I'll take all the stuff off the page. Okay, I'm hoping that works. Let's see. We want to do it kind of like this. Okay, and I'm going to use this pink embossing powder, and I've got my embossing supplies handy here. Let me pull this up and push this over because I got to do it fairly quickly. I'm gonna make it this kind of fuchsia pink. I don't know how that's gonna look, but let's see. I'm gonna, oh my goodness. Okay, I don't do this often, so I don't, I'm not good at figuring out how to organize it. Okay. I have my paintbrush that I use to clean around the image, and I just did something with my hand, and my big old fat thumb kind of erased part of the line. But you know, it's okay with me if it's not completely oh, I don't know what I want to say. Let me put this here. And I've got to get this back into here. I'm using 3 different colors. Actually, why don't I just use the pink? Because 3 different colors is going to make this video last 2 hours. I'm not lying. This is going to be a fairly long video. Okay, so now I kind of want to see where other ones of these go. And I'm going to put that one right there over the messed up spot. I'm going to do this one kind of going off the page, maybe. Okay, and I think I'm going to have one like this one right here. So maybe I want one kind of like so. Right there. Okay, and now I have to and again, if it's not, you know, if it's a little rough, if the embossing isn't, then I can do some other distressed elements, and that's not going to bother me at all. I never expect, well, in scrapbooking especially, when I used to make cards, I liked for the cards, because the cards are going to be viewed close up and examined, And especially if they know that the card is homemade, they'll look for the details and ask how you did this and you know, stuff like that. And I always kind of wanted, not sure what's happening here, but before I melt it, I want to get as much of the stray stuff away as I can. And there's a glop right there, and I'm just going to leave it. So I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to use my heat tool on this mat. This mat is a Ken Oliver mat, and it isn't affected by heat. So here's my heating tool. I've got to plug it in. Let me see if I can figure out where it can plug. I may have to unplug my computer. I don't want to unplug my light. I don't want to unplug that light. What on earth am I going to do? I'm going to unplug my computer, and then I'm going to plug it in here. Would have been nice if I'd done some of this prep work ahead of time, but no. Okay, so now let's do this. And I've got another couple of stamps, and I may do those in different colors, but let's see. See what we've got going on. What I like about using this one to emboss, embossing with this one, is that these are little dots and it's going to be very textural. And I'm not seeing any particular melting going on right now. Oh, there we go. I'm beginning to see a few little shiny dots. Yay! I need to see shiny lines for those lines outside the border there, or the lines that form the border. Okay, so that one seems to be good. This one should show fairly quickly because the tool is heated, and that one's kind of messy, and so I might embellish, you know, partially over it. Here's another one, and I guess that's kind of a mark on the stamp. That little kind of a splotchy area. Now, this is kind of warping the paper. It's not going to warp the mat because the mat is meant to take heat. But the paper is just cardstock. It's the back of a sheet of cardstock, and so well, it's actually pattern paper. It'll completely flatten out when I put it in an album, so I'm not worried about that at all. I'm kind of down to my last one here, and I may do some other stamping on here, but I won't make you watch the embossing, the heat embossing. Okay, so I'm gonna put that away, and we'll put the page together, and then we'll see where else I might want to stamp. Let's kind of do it in that order. So I'm gonna put this guy. I'm going to arrange the photos. It's kind of my process. I'm going to arrange the photos and then figure out what embellishments I want. I don't... okay. And that's not completely flattening down because of the paper warping underneath it. Okay, let me put these over to the side. I'm going to put the stencil up top. I'm going to put some adhesive here and put that do I want it there or here? Here, maybe. There we go. And I like that it's kind of near this, but it's not right there. And so this is going to go there, maybe up a bit. And then I'm going to do the title, and I'm going to have to, I didn't take the backing off of the title, and so I'll have to do that now. This title piece broke, but as you'll see, it's easy peasy to fix, and it broke due to my mishandling. Either mine or the postman. And I'm pretty sure it's me because they're packed pretty well, and I don't have that problem very often, if at all. Okay, folks, this is annoying. I'm gonna have to bring this down and get my pin that I use to unclog it. Let's see. And hopefully that opens it up, because I really am not in a mood to fuss with things. I have been beyond stressed with some issues that have arisen and that require lots of phone calls and you know, consultation to try to figure things out, and I've had like 3 or 4 what I'm going to call projects that I start out making the calls and filling out the forms and asking questions. Let me see where Shenanigans. There we go. I've got to get it. I've got to paste it in there correctly. And there we go. And you cannot tell. Okay, there, that's the N. That's perfect. Okay, now before I start putting other embellishments on, I'm going to show you the other stamps I have, and I'm going to maybe use a different tray here. This is a cute little stamp that is 3 little hexagons, and I thought I might find some areas that are around the stenciled hexagons that I can then color, and these would kind of be there. I'm gonna like say if I did something right there, for example. So that's the first place I'm gonna go. Okay, where's my ink? My desk is in a horrible state. No particular reason. It's not like I've been doing a whole lot of scrapping. Okay, let's get this to where the top of it is, it's like that. Okay, oh, that actually left a mark. There must be, this is an ink pad that I have never used before. It was one I got from Archivers when they closed down. I bought a lot of supplies from them. that they had used in classes and stuff. And so I'm going to do that one. And then I'm going to do one more, maybe down here. And these, I thought I'd make blue. Why not? I have blue and yellow out, and I thought these would be blue and maybe the next ones would be yellow. So here and here and here. And okay, now I'm going to put this back and use the same tray when I use yellow. Oops, uh-oh. I got it on my table, so not good. And I'm going to sweep it off into the trash. I hate doing that, but there's no getting it back in the bottle at this point. So now, let's see. I have this stamp, which is a solid hexagon, and I have no idea how it's going to look on here in yellow and stuff, but let's try it. Let's see where we go from here. I'm going to put this one maybe right here. Okay, so only half of it stamped, and that's okay. It's you know, it's a fun process. Okay, let's see. I'm going to maybe make this one down, put this one down here. And there, I got all of it. And then I'm going to come up here. I'm going to do this one off the side here. And I'll just do those three, and I'm hoping that that dark ink doesn't come up through the, and you know, I knew I was going to be using light colors today, and I actually wiped off the stamps with a baby wipe, and it still didn't quite work. Okay, so now let's do that. And I'm going to kind of press that down because it's not the same texture as the others. And let me get that one. Okay, so I think that's going to be good. I'm going to shake it off into here, and you can kind of see the dark stuff coming up through the yellow, and the powder, the embossing powder, is kind of strange on there, but we're going to go with it. And if I don't like it, you know what? I have the world's largest collection of embellishments that can cover anything up. So I'm fine with that. Let me get my heat gun again, and let's see. There it is. And we'll see what we can do here. I want to see what this one does first. And if it's kind of black coming through the yellow, I'm not sure. And that's what it is. It's kind of made an unusual color, a color that doesn't exist in in reality. So So we'll see. And I kind of don't mind that because there are all kinds of colors in the photos that kind of have a darker edge to them, a darker side to them. I think I've got the yellow ones done. And we start the blue ones and then we'll finish the page with some chipboard hexagons and some Bramble Fox goodies. I have some Bramble Fox hexagons too that I'm going to pull out. I'm going to go ahead and just melt this, even though I can see there's some little bits that I didn't clean up. I'm going to try to get that one done. This one, and okay, let's call that done. And now I've got the photos on there, so what's left is to embellish. And I want, this is a kind of a birthday themed, holiday themed, whatever. I like that. I like this bunch of balloons. And I'm trying to figure out where the balloons should go. Maybe right here. And then I've got Bramble Fox balloons that I'm going to kind of tuck in. I'm going to put some glue on the back. I've already glued gold thread here. I'm going to kind of tuck it in right there and then bring the gold thread down here, and then I've got a blue one that's going to go right beside that one. And then I'm going to bring this. I'll do that. I'll move it after the glue has dried. So now I've got this guy, which is John loves penguins and sunflowers. So there's going to be penguins and sunflowers on here. And this is a Bramble Fox sunflower that I just got. I'm on their challenge team, and as such, every once in a while I get some happy mail with a few items to use on layouts, and I absolutely love the sunflowers, and I used them up when they came in a Bramble Fox box, a Fox box plus, which I subscribed to. I'm going to put it here to cover that little incomplete hexagon, and I'm going to take this little arrow. I'm going to put this arrow on this hexagon and kind of point it that way, and that gives me room to do something else over here, which I'm thinking maybe I'm going to do this, and I'm going to overlap it down close to it. I like that. That has all the colors in the... Okay, let me kind of do it this way. Okay, now I have this, which is just a solid chipboard hexagon, and I'm going to go ahead and put it here, kind of lining up the edge of it with this little guy. And I have a pretty pink kind of open one, and I was thinking maybe I could do it like coming in like that, and then I could use the narrow side over, well, let's see what I can do here. I'm gonna cut this right there and there. Is that right? Let me get some glue on here. And I did that the wrong way, folks. I'm gonna have to change that because I want this to be oriented this way, for example. Okay. I want all the flat sides to be parallel with the top of the page. And so I'm going to put it right here, and I'll cut another one correctly because if I want it to go this way, what I need to cut off is this little bit right here. Okay, now I'm gonna put a little bit of glue everywhere. And then I'm gonna just kind of put that right there. And I will get another one of these to maybe put right there or down here. I'm thinking it needs to go over here and maybe even right there. Okay, and here, whoops, I lost my top, the top to my glue. Okay, here is another kind of solid hexagon. I'm going to put it here, lined up with those stenciled ones. And I have another one that kind of goes like so. And I have another one of these little colorful ones that I can bring down here. And I'm gonna put it right there. Oops. Okay, there. Now I have this, which could come in from the side. I'm thinking I'd like it coming down from the top there, except it should only come from the side because then the side will be parallel to that. So that's what I'll do. And all right, now I'll save these hexagons for another page. I'm going to use this clip up at the top of this picture, that frame, and I'm going to take a couple Bramble Fox hearts and I'm going to put them over here by this kind of ugly yellow hexagon. So I'll leave that there. And now let's go find us. Here is a penguin. So let me put these strings kind of over this way. I'm going to put the penguin kind of right there. I love it. And I have these kind of star-like things that I like, but they look a little Christmassy, and that's from the Christmas collection. So let me, I'm gonna go here and come up with some presents. I'm gonna put a couple of presents on here, and of course I have to have a cake. Let's see. What is, what have I got here? Do I want to put a gift right there and then another one right next to it? Okay, these are puffy stickers. All of these supplies are from Hip Kit Club. I like these little plus signs, and I'm gonna kind of pull a few of them and put them in areas where I have clusters of hexagons. And they're hard to line up. I have noticed that. And I've got a piece of smursh on my, let me get that there, and that there, and I'm gonna maybe stop worrying about these things. I'll just put that there. I'm not gonna put any more on there. I'll put three, at least three, but no more. Okay, and so those are presents, and I've got the penguin, and I've got the sunflower. I also have some rub-ons that I saw another, well, this is a Let's Celebrate collection, and I'm going to cut, this is bothering me right here. Okay, so that's good. I've got this that says Winter Fun, which I don't need. I've got this that says Treasure Today, and I do want to use that. And I'm going to put it across this stamped hexagon to this, into that little cluster. I'm kind of liking that. These rub-ons, let me get, I need to rub on that that sunflower, and there's red leaves in the sunflower, and I'm not sure why, but I'm gonna kind of, let's see, where do I want to put these? Where do I want to put this? Maybe let's move this over, and maybe I put it right here. And we'll see if I can get it on there. get it to stay. Okay, now okay. I like it. It turned out cute. And I want to use some of these bannery things. And I'm going to have to decide, do I want the flag banner underneath the title, or do I want these little guys underneath the title except going like this? I'm going to go with those. That would look different. I'm having trouble getting that off. Oh, whoops. Okay, and I need to cover something. I have a lid to something that isn't covered, and then I have a my glue, which needs to be covered. Okay, let me kind of get this down here. I want it to tuck up underneath the title. So it's kind of underlining the title. It's the idea of the look I had in mind. Okay, so let's see if that one's, I think I'm going to have to kind of re-glue that title. It's not sticking. On the big ones, they're kind of losing a little of the pigment. I'm not sure how to fix that. It doesn't, it's not a matter of just going back and reattaching. Okay, so since there are those mistakes, those errors, those like those areas that have worn off or come off onto my fingers or something, I'm gonna just go over it with another rub-on that kind of hides the part that's missing on the original one. And these rub-ons are not behaving like the 49 in Market, in that 49 in Market, I use rub-ons on top of rub-ons all the time, and these are not sticking. So I'm not thrilled with that. I'm gonna kind of come over here and do the same thing, but be a little bit more careful. Get most of the this rub-on the main background instead of on the other rub-on, because that part's going to be hard to stick, and it didn't come off quite right. Okay, so it was kind of messy, and I was trying to fix that, and I made it messier. But look kind of what happened. All the other messy stuff kind of seems to fit, I guess, is the kind of the thing there. I'm gonna do some other embellishments, like right here, and then I'm gonna put the details there. And I'll let it kind of hang off the end there. And then up there on the orange one, I've kind of got this. Oh, I need a cake. I need a birthday cake. And there are several cakes. I like the puffy. This kind of looks like a birthday cake to me, this particular puffy cake. This cake is bigger, but it has poinsettias. It has holly, and it's not a it's more of a Christmas cake. So I'm gonna put this one maybe, where do I want this? Maybe here, and I'll put this one here, kind of in the same neighborhood as this orange polka dot, because that's orange polka dot. And I'm gonna now try to figure out what to do with these wires. I'm gonna call the page done. I'm gonna move all this stuff over here so I can kind of see what I'm dealing with. I have my 2 hearts, so that's good. And I have the sunflower and the I'm gonna cut these, and then I'm gonna kind of I'm having trouble grasping them. Let's see. I'm gonna maybe curl that like that, and then kind of, I want it like that. I want it like that exactly as it is. So I'll put a little glue here, and I'll crisscross them right at that point, at the point of the glue. And then they'll stay glued right there, and you'll be able to see the shininess of the glue. Okay, now I guess shininess is a word, don't you think? I want something. I've embellished pretty much, like, except these 2. So let me go see if I can find something. How about maybe this one here, and I'll just bring it down kind of like so. And I don't have it on there, but because it's blue, I'm going to get something blue to put on there. I don't know what I'm going to put on there. I'm going to put maybe this little guy. I don't even know what that is. I think it's supposed to represent a tree, but I am not seeing it. I'm not loving that idea. A couple of presents maybe, like here, and I'll find a small one here. There we go. And then I have this one So what do I want to do up there? Do I want maybe this little hexagon kind of overlapping it, maybe right there? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So how about right there? Okay, and then I'd like a small embellishment up there. Here, this says out on the town. Okay, there we are. I think we're done. And I'm sorry that this took so long, but I am very happy with the page, and I hope you're inspired to create and to try embossing um, on your pages. And I would recommend washing your stamps before you do that, especially solid stamps like that. But you know, it doesn't bother me that those are you know, it's kind of inked. They look inked. Let's just put it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm gonna kind of pull this down here so you can see it, and then I'm gonna shut off the video. Thanks for watching.